Well, good morning everyone. So we've got a little mechanical DIY here on this beautiful sunny morning for you today. And this is something that I didn't think would come up so soon, but we're going to be replacing the rear springs here on the Yukon. Now it's already been converted from the Z55 electronic and air ride over to the Moog 81069 springs, which are a Z71 equivalent and a standard shock absorber. And now what we're doing today is simply because from all the weight that we've added into the vehicle, between the bed platform, the rack, just everything that's in it, it has actually sagged, compressed a noticeable amount from where it was when I first put the Z71 springs in. So today I'm hoping to rectify some of that. It's not bad by any means, it's actually just about level when you look at it on even ground, which my driveway is not. And what we're putting in today is a set of Skyjacker C25 springs. They are rated for a 2.5-inch lift over stock, which over the Z71 springs would probably be a little bit less than that, but it should be close. And I've also got a 3/4-inch spacer for the top of the spring from Daystar that I may or may not put in. I don't want to go too high because I'm not looking to do anything with the front of the vehicle today. So we'll see what it looks like when things are apart and where it ends up when it's all said and done. I may put them in, I may not. I may put them in and I might have to take them back out. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, come along for the ride. Before we get going too far, here's a comparison of, these are the Skyjackers obviously on the left and the OEM Z55 spring there on the right, which is already about an inch shorter than the Z71 equivalents I have in there now, and a softer spring rate as well. The Skyjackers are the same spring rate, just taller than the Z71s. So before we get going too far, I do want to just say this isn't going to be a full-on DIY step-by-step video. There's a lot of that out there already if you want to see that. I think a lot of people, if you're watching this, you know how to jack up your car, you know how to take the tire off. Probably familiar with some of the basic steps, so I'll film most of the process, show you the highlights, any issues that I run into. But the thing most people are probably most interested in will be the before and after results and how things kind of go together. So that's my plan. And this is what you keep hearing in the background. This is our pig Rosie. She's loud. Okay, so the way I decided to do this, since our driveway is distinctly uneven, just to have some kind of real data before and after, is I'm simply going to measure from the center of the rear axle here straight up to the fender, right where she sits, and we are at 22 1/8 to the fender. So when we're done with this side, we'll drop it down right here again, make a comparison before and after. Alright, here we are. The Moog Z71 equivalent springs, AC Delco HD shocks, and that's only about a year of regular use grime built up there. It doesn't take long out in the desert. Alright, current status, springs out, everything's disconnected on this side. Here's a little shot of the Skyjackers versus the Moog. Same spring rate, but the Moogs are wound closer together. It's kind of interesting. The difference in height, spacer or not, means I'm probably gonna have to compress the new ones to get them in the same spot though. All right, we are finally in. That was honestly a real bear. One thing I didn't talk about at the bottom here were the extensions for the shocks, so I don't have to change shock absorbers at this point, although that will happen in the future. Got the little spacer in, ended up putting it in on the bottom. It seemed by far the most secure on the bottom, the way the cup for the springs are made. So I went there, and that's where most spacers for these GMT800s are usually put on the rear axle. So it was a bear. The axle only drops down so far with everything connected. Had the sway bar off, of course the shock off, all my lines loosened up, and with the links and the track bar and everything, it was still just enough. I had to do a lot of pry bar compressing, even with the spring compressor, to get that thing in, but finally got it, so I think I'll be pretty happy. I am going to be leaving the sway bar links off right now. I'll be getting an extended set because these don't have a chance of going back on without severely limiting travel. So I'm going to see how it feels without the sway bar connected. Definitely a benefit off-road and a little bit of ride quality in theory, so we'll see. Okay, so this is obviously just the one side done. It's not driven, nothing's been settled yet. The other side's still low, so that'll probably change things in the end, but we'll see where we're at after just this one. So, same method, right in the center of the axle line, up through the fender, and right now it's 25 1/4. So that is 3 inches. Remember that, 25 1/4. All right, just a quick comparison before we continue. Passenger side not done yet, and we will walk around to the driver's side, and that's what she looks like after. All right, guys, well, it started raining, so I switched to the cell phone. Got both sides on, and I'm measuring that driver's side just to keep it consistent because of how uneven the driveway is at 25 1/4, all set and done. So that is where we've ended up. I'm gonna clean up all my crap because it's getting wet. We'll finish this off inside. All right, guys, so had on the first test drive, got everything put together. Weather turned absolutely horrible, so made it just in time. I did get rained on, but nothing terrible. So just to kind of reiterate, I did have to leave the rear sway bar disconnected. I'll have to get longer links, and from what I've read, links for a like 2 to 3 inch lift JK Wrangler should work just about perfect. So I'll probably get those coming up. We'll see how this feels here. Just going straight for now. Haven't hit a turn yet, so we'll see how it feels. So again, we've got 2.5 inch Skyjacker springs, a 3/4 inch Daystar spacer, and then the Ready Lift shock extensions. So it all went together pretty decent. I definitely would not want a bigger spacer, I don't think, on the bottom of the coils. They have these 2 and 3 inch spacers, and it just looks like it's probably fine, but it just looks like it would be unstable with articulation and everything. So I don't know, I'm happy with this. I'm glad I didn't go for just a bigger spacer and call it good. All right, first turn. Yeah, I'm gonna want sway bar end links. It's all my shit I didn't put away. It was raining. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's more roll than I've been used to. Back before I did anything to the rear, when it had the original Z55 springs and the air shocks were blown out and the compressor wasn't working, it was so soft without the air part of the shock working that it felt unstable just going straight down the road. It felt really wondery. And this doesn't feel like that without the sway bar. If it did that, that would probably be a deal breaker right away. So it's like I said, it's not bad, but I think I'll do end links. I did absolutely crush that finger. It's probably not going to focus. It's already looking black under the nail. It hurts.